morning, student. Welcome again to our social study classes today. Now, today we are going to continue with the previous chapter that we were learning about the Constitution of India. And before we continue with our subject, now let us go back to what we had actually studied in this chapter. Now, in this chapter, the Constitution of India, we have studied about what is the meaning of the Constitution of India, what is the definition. Then we studied who were the important people who were responsible for drafting this Constitution of India, and important organizations that were established to bring about this Constitution of India after the independence, and why a particular dates or different particular dates were considered to be important in the historical background of India in regarding to our own independence and Republic Day that we celebrate in a particular year in every time. Now, on the other part, we also studied about the importance of the preamble that is being adopted in the Constitution in the starting, which is regarded as the opening statement of the Constitution of India. And what are the important aspects that are there, which tells about what are the important things that and privileges and opportunities that are given to the individual people or the citizen of this country. And we studied about the basic important things such as equality, fraternity, justice. Then we studied about the brief details about the preamble, and I had explained you about the actual meaning or the statement that is written here, which starts the preamble with the saying that we the people of India. So it means that it states about that India is a country which is drafted or made or established by the people itself or the Indian people itself. It is not taken from what was there existing in the earlier period when the British government were ruling in our country. And on that basis, Indians are the important people who took initiative part or gave the initiative time to draft the own constitution of India. It also states, the preamble also states about few of the important things which it describes about our own country, about the democratic system or the government system of our country and what it believes. And we studied about important points such as sovereignty, socialistic, then we studied about equality, then we studied about what is the actual meaning of sovereignty, what is the actual meaning of socialistic, what does it mean by a country which is regarded as a democratic country, what is the meaning of fraternity, and so on. Now, in this, we also went across certain brief details about what does Constitution only holds important things which are there for the government system or for the channelizing of the people, how it should work, or the law and rules regulations only. No. Now see, Constitution also holds certain important privileges and benefits that are given to the citizen of its country. And not only the citizens, if any person who is coming from outside also has certain human rights that they carry along with them, which is also protected by the Indian Constitution. Now, considering the citizen of India, there are various important things that is known as the fundamental right. Now, we are going through this, as I have mentioned here, the fundamental rights that are given by the Constitution of India, and it is stated as one of the important things that privileges or benefits that are being endured to the citizens of the India by the Constitution of India. Now, under this topic, we were going through one of the important rights that was mentioned there, which is known as right to equality. Now, right to equality means considering everyone according to the eyes of the law, everyone is regarded as to be equal. There is no discrimination among people in regarding to their richness or poorness, educated, non-educated, caste, or any kind of religious background. So it is clearly stated in the rights of equality that every citizen is considered to be equal into the eyes of law, and each of them will get their benefits or privileges according to their own opportunities or according to their own abilities. Now, under this, there are various important freedom of rights, freedoms that are being given which is under the rights to equality. Now what is that? Number one, it is mentioned here, right to settle anywhere in India. Now this is very important because as country India is considered to be a whole state, a combination of various different states. Now, as I explained you, like if you go from one country to the another country, there is a requirement of documentation, paperwork, passport, visas, and etc. But traveling from one state of the same country to the another state of India, there is no requirement of any kind of documentation. Anyone can travel anywhere and settle down anywhere of their own choices. The second one is freedom of speech and expression. In this, I told you about what exactly it means is that any person who want to express their problems or want to protest or to say something against anyone or their grievances has to be placed, they are free to come up and then place their problems to the government or any of the authorities against which or to whom they want to address. So there is a freedom of speech and expression given to us, but there is a limitation that it should not be done against the nation's benefit, or it should not be done any kind of activity which is against the nation. Now the third one is freedom to take any occupation. Now what does this word occupation means? Occupation means any kind of work which are done to earn money, to sustain our lives or our family members. So any person according to their abilities, but the consideration is that it is just according to the basis of their abilities. It is not that any person who is of any background or any situation can approach for any kind of work. There is always a categorization of job specifications are made about who or which category of people can work in what category of work. So it is but our choices. If a person is doing a doctorate and he wants to become a doctor, he is free to practice it. Nobody can force him or nobody can refrain him from doing so. So it is said that any person who is willing to practice any kind of occupation can do it. The third one is freedom to freedom to move anywhere. Freedom to move anywhere means it is again the same. There is no restriction as to or boundary line as to move within the geographical features or the geographical area of our country, India. Now, freedom to assemble without arms and ammunition. What does it mean? Freedom to assemble without arms and ammunition. It means that a person or a group of people can assemble anywhere. If it is for a protest or for putting out any grievances that is there of theirs towards any of the government officials or any of the government people or etc. whatever. But it should not be done with any kind of arms and ammunition. Like for example, if there is a protest going on in a street corner or any of the places against the government, the person are only allowed to sit down or stand or protest or express their problems. But if they come with gun, sword or any kind of harmful weapons, it will not be allowed according to the law. So that means that any person can assemble anywhere for any kind of activities, but it should not be with any kind of dangerous arms and ammunition. Or in other cases, it also is stated that if there is a scene of emergency in the country, like now we have, when government restricted total lockdown, brought about total lockdown and restricted people from gathering together in certain places. So in this condition also, there are restriction placed which is liable on the people or the citizen of India. The last one is to freedom to form association. Now what does it mean? Freedom to form association. Now various people, you have seen that a group of people who are running a similar kind of business, a same kind of business. For example, people who are driving rickshaws, rickshawalas, everyone. They, if they want, they can come together and form one single group of association or a union and registered and select their own leaders among them. Now why are this association being made? Now this association are being made to see the benefits or categorize a particular benefit into a single unit. And then if there is problem arises or if there is problem faced or grievances or any kind of trouble faced by any circumstances, they can put forward their problems towards the government. Okay, and it should be done by a registered associate people or registered associations. And it is beneficial to safeguard the interest and it is given. There are certain reasons why it is provided by the government. Now these are considered to be provided to safeguard the interest and protect the right of individual group of people who belongs to a particular single class, or class in the sense in regarding to it can be of a single occupation kind of unions or associations created. It can be association which is in regarding to a single society of people or a type of people living together in a particular area. So these are different forms of freedom that are being provided as the right to equality. The next important right that is given, let us go through it, which is known as right to Now, after right to equality, there are certain important other, which is important rights, which is known as rights to exploitation. Now, what does exactly it means? Right to exploitation. Exploitation. This word exploitation means now the simple meaning means, first of all, we need to understand what is the meaning of exploitation. Now, the word exploitation means unwanted or forceful act. An unwanted act or forceful act which is done against the will of a person, or if it is done according to the will of a person but it is done in an unfair manner, not in a fair manner, or it is against the system or the privileges or the law that is being provided by our constitution. That is known as exploitation. And if there is certain limitations that are being provided by the government for any kind of work or activity, and when these limitations are exceeded by any person, when people exceed the limit and go across the limits provided by the law, is known as the system of exploitation. Now, why it is considered the right to exploitation is important. Now, we have seen various important places where people are made to work too much and they are paid very less. That means what? The right that is provided to them about equality, to provide them equal opportunities, is not been granted to them, and according to the work they are not being paid. So that is known as right to exploitation. Where one of the various important or dangerous situation that still in our country faces is that this is the important situation that our country faces, which is known as child labor. Now, this is a very you can consider this as a disease that is destroying our country. Now, why it is said so? Because under the law, it is considered that until the age of 14, every children are required to be provided with basic educational benefits, and any person who is employing this kind of age of people into any kind of work against their will and in hazardous circumstances, then it is a punishable offense. That means what? It is punished according to the law. So this child labor situation is very dangerous, which is not allowed by the constitution of law or according to the law. But the second one is about right to freedom of religion. Now, religion means it is equally provided that everyone or each and every individual has the full right to practice any kind of religion of their own choices, and any person who is restricting them from doing so will be punished. So, right to freedom of religion is one of the important rights. Then we have Then we have cultural and educational right. What is that? Cultural and educational right. What is culture? Culture is a traditional practices that have been practiced from a long period of time, and even Constitution agrees with these practices and gives a valid opportunity for those kind of cultural activities that are being practiced from a long period of time to have certain legal authenticities, and they are also protected according to the law. So cultural and educational right. Educational right, I told you right now that it is a kind of right where children till the age of 14 are to be provided educational benefits, and this important aspect are most probably to be undertaken or seen by the government of India. The next is about right to constitutional remedy. Right to constitutional remedy. Now, what is this right to constitutional remedy? Right to constitutional remedy means any person who is aggrieved with any kind of force against them, or any kind of legal benefit of freedom are being hampered or it is disturbed, they can approach any kind of judicial court or a police station, or they can take any kind of legal action of their own choices. Nobody can restrict them, or there is no restriction in regarding to any caste, religion, or a particular religion can only go to the courts or any police station, or this religion can, or that caste can, or this cannot, or that cannot. There is no restriction or limitation as to such. Any person of any kind of religion or any kind of situation of any religious background can approach the court of law and get constitutional remedy. The word constitutional remedy means according to the constitutional, whatever the remedy or benefits or privileges that are provided, it cannot be hampered. If it is disturbed, a person can approach the court of law and get justice. So these are some of the important fundamental rights that are provided according to the Constitution of India. So let us understand this and go through it in a proper way, and I urge students to go through it, because these topics are very much important, because this will be continued in your higher classes also. And if you understand the basic things right now in a particular time, in this time, it will help you to understand in a better way when you learn about it more and more in your higher classes. So I want you to go through this important fundamental rights, note it down in a notebook and go through it properly. On our next class, we are going to complete our chapter in regarding to the other rest of the parts, where we are going to learn about importance of the fundamental duties that are given to individual citizens of India and the duties of Indian citizens, and on the other part, the directive principle of state policy, what importance does it hold. So this is all for today's class. Hope everyone is going through your classes properly and taking note of all the important details that are being provided to you. Thank you very much, and have a good day.